From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Hunters aim to protect their hearing with gun silencers, but critics say it's just a cover-up. We'll take you inside the debate in our nation's capital.
Plus, it's been 6 years since bald eagles were removed from the endangered species list. Tonight, even better news for the iconic birds here in Arizona.
And the expansion of the light rail will bring more transportation options for Valley commuters. But now a new group of business owners have concerns about construction.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Madison Connor.
And I'm Tyler Finger. Thank you for joining us. Involvement in politics in your community, especially with the younger generation, is topping the agenda tonight. Former President Barack Obama announced his foundation will host a summit next month aimed at promoting civic engagement among students and young adults. As Emily Richardson found out, Arizona State University students on the Tempe campus are already motivated to take action.
So I really fell in love with how the UN has portrayed politics and how it has facilitated what we want and how it has, like, basically you can see the results that you want to see change in the world through the work of the UN.
About a dozen students at Arizona State University's main campus spent their lunch hour sending letters to their congressional delegation. ASU's UN Association's president, Layla Jamal, says some of the group's concerns are DACA and the UN budget cuts.
So we're asking our members and the people that are coming in, are you interested in DACA and helping us change the Congress, since now it's up to the Congress, change the vote in Congress, and basically by targeting Republicans and people on the Republican side to help us say that we want our dreamers to stay.
Since the election, a poll done by the Institute of Politics at Harvard University found 25% of 18 to 29-year-olds say they're more motivated to get involved. That translates to about 14 million young people. And Obama wants to tap into that to find solutions to societal problems.
This leadership summit will be a place to gather and learn from one another, and then go back to your communities to lead others in the hard work of change. In the weeks and months ahead, we'll be kicking off more initiatives and opportunities for people like you to get involved with the Obama Foundation's mission. That mission is simple. We want to inspire and empower people to change the world.
47% of those polled by Harvard University's Institute on Politics believe that what's happening in Washington is relevant to their lives. That number is up 7% from 5 years ago. And those writers at the union agree. Roa El-Farana says she joined ASU's UN group because she was passionate about the UN's work.
About the UN and about refugee work, so I was like, that sounds really cool, that's what I'm really interested in, it really lies personally to me, so I would be more than happy to join.
The group is hoping their efforts at civic engagement have an impact across the country. In Tempe, Emily Richardson, Cronkite News.
Tomorrow, the Obama Foundation is expected to announce its plans for the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago.
Some Valley community leaders are making sure they support DACA recipients in the wake of President Trump's announcement that he's ending the deferred deportation program. Reporter Sydney Eisenberg has the details on today's announcement.
Two community members are coming together to help keep dreamers in the U.S. They pledged $10,000 for scholarships. Promise Arizona is thanking Roberto Reveles and Tommy Espinoza for their large donation. The combined $10,000 donation will be used to help DACA recipients reapply for DACA status. Reveles put off a long-planned trip to the Far East in order to help those he calls the future.
That decision can be deferred. What cannot be deferred and delayed is renewal of the DACA recipient permits.
I mean, that's the fact that I want to give students out there. There's people that care. There's people that are willing to help, but they need our help to put the word out there.
DACA recipients whose status ends before March 5th have until October 5th to reapply. In the Broadcast Center, Sydney Eisenberg, Cronkite News.
DACA has provided 2-year work permits and protection from deportation to thousands of Arizonans. Now members of one Phoenix organization are doing what they can to keep DACA alive. The Center for Neighborhood Leadership in downtown Phoenix is offering legal help and other resources to local DACA recipients. This group of community organizers and concerned citizens gathered Saturday morning to talk about their next steps. That included ASU student DAPHNE Cervantes, who was born in the United States but comes from an undocumented family.
I'm here to do this for my mom, you know, to give her peace, relief, for her to be able to go to the store, to go to work without having to fear being pulled over by a police officer.
The center will also hold workshops next week for those eligible to renew their DACA status.
A new lawsuit claims federal searches of laptops and cell phones at airports and border crossings is unconstitutional. Warrantless searches at the border are permitted to help the government enforce immigration and customs laws. But in a lawsuit filed today, the Electronic Frontier Foundation and the ACLU argue that because modern electronic devices carry so much private information, those searches should require a warrant. 2 Arizona representatives got an invitation from the Trump administration to talk tax reform today. Martha McSally and Kirsten Sinema were part of a bipartisan group of 13 representatives who met with the president. After the meeting, President Trump said a new tax reform bill will aim to cut taxes for the middle class, but that taxes on the wealthy may increase. Trump also said he'd like to see the corporate tax rate reduced to 15%. Tomorrow, Hopis are voting to narrow the list of candidates for the tribe's top 2 elected offices. The top 2 in the chairman and vice chairman races move on to the November 9th general election. Whoever is chosen will lead the small northern Arizona tribe at a time when it's expected to face a significant loss in coal royalties with the closure of a power plant in 2019. Tribal Registrar Karen Shupla says turnout is generally low. Just more than 1,400 Hopis cast a ballot in the 2013 primary election.
A hunter's rights bill that's advancing in Congress would ease some regulations on hunting on federal lands. But the firearms language in the bill is drawing fire from gun control groups. Washington Bureau reporter Trevor Fay was there for the congressional hearing before the bill heads to the House floor.
It's supposed to be about hunters' rights. But critics of the SHARE Act say it's little more than a cover to deregulate sales of armor-piercing bullets and silencers, and they refuse to remain silent at a House hearing today.
Should silencers be removed from the NFA, individuals unable to pass a background check would be able to obtain these dangerous weapons through unregulated private sales on the internet and at gun shows.
Chipman, a former agent with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, was supported by Arizona Congressman Raul Grijalva, who said Chipman was being disregarded due to the influence of gun manufacturers.
You know, I find it curious that we all love cops, Mr. Chipman, and then the minute a career law enforcement officer comes to this committee and tells us what we are doing in this legislation is dangerous for public safety, suddenly that credibility is lost.
But supporters of the SHARE Act say it will let law-abiding hunters protect their hearing with silencers and preserve the culture of American hunters. Representative Ruben Gallego was dubious about that claim.
How is this actually going to help hunters in terms of being able to be going through the woods if you have people having suppressors essentially on their rifles? And I just don't understand what is the logic somehow this is going to bring safety to hunters.
Attorney Stephen Halbrook says that it is easy to make silencers and that criminals will not be dissuaded from using them simply because of federal regulation. In Washington, Trevor Fay, Cronkite News.
Congress is moving ahead with a plan tonight to manage the bison population up at the Grand Canyon. A House committee approved the Grand Canyon Bison Management Act this morning. The bill was introduced in June by Arizona Representative Paul Gosar. It would allow licensed hunters to help cull the bison population at Grand Canyon National Park. Bison were introduced north of the canyon in the 1920s, but they have started moving into the northern rim, where they can't be hunted. There are currently about 600 bison. The goal is to reduce that number to about 200.
Arizona's bald eagle population continues to soar. During the breeding season this year, 82 baby eagles hatched. That's a record number. Last year, only 79 birds were born. In Arizona, there are 85 breeding sites, which include 2 new ones this year. The Arizona Game and Fish Department estimates there are 67 bald eagle breeding pairs in the state. That's up from 11 in 1978 when the bird was listed as endangered. Tiny homes are growing in popularity.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how these small living spaces are changing the market in a major way.
Plus, the next 2 Summer Olympic locations were announced today. Find out which city in the U.S. will be hosting the Games in 2028.
When a story comes in the morning, we're out the door as fast as we can go.
But it's also great to spend more time in communities and produce projects.
From the borderlands to the cities, the reservations, and even the state capitol, we want to get to the heart of the matter.
When the lights come on in the studio, we know our hard work is about to pay off.
We love what we do here at Cronkite News.
We're proud to tell the stories of our state.
Now, more than ever, it's important to have a trusted news source, and that's Cronkite News.
This fall.
I'm so excited!
What?
From the inspiring to the amazing.
You're in the presence of history.
The compelling.
He said, "Welcome home." It was just a powerful moment.
To the astounding.
I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
And from the breathtaking.
This is real.
A journey to Mars.
To the electrifying.
We're going to change the world.
All this and more. All this fall.
Oh my God!
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in. Arizona State wins. Keeping one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong. Do you believe
it? Paris 24, Los Angeles 28.
That's the announcement Los Angeles has been waiting to hear. It's official. LA will be hosting its 3rd Olympic Games in 2028. It's been years in the making. The International Olympic Committee voted this morning in Lima, Peru. That means in just about a decade, Los Angeles will welcome the world for the Summer Olympic Games in 2028. Paris will host in 2024. This will be the first time the United States will host the Summer Olympics since Atlanta in 1996.
The light rail extension heading towards South Phoenix is well into the initial design phase. Those behind the project held an open house, giving residents a closer look into how the project is coming along. Cronkite News reporter Alex Valdez was there and also shares why some business owners are both welcoming and nervous about this expansion. Alex?
I'm standing right outside one of the many light rail stations around the valley. Starting in the year 2023, residents and visitors will be able to ride the light rail down to Central and Baseline and enjoy what many locals around the area call the hidden wonders of South Phoenix. But some say it won't come without its challenges. Norberto and Sandra Flores, both of them South Phoenix natives, say they wanted to open Azucar's coffee shop, 1, to show their Latino roots, and 2, in a part of Phoenix they say is often forgotten.
We were wanting to show an identity of not only a Hispanic identity, but also a South Phoenix identity, a Chicano identity.
That identity can be clearly seen in and outside their family-owned cafe. The vision to bring a very needed coffee shop and meeting place to the area started 2 years ago. Owners Norberto and Sandra say they have mixed feelings about the light rail that's coming. Many businesses along Central Avenue are hopeful for the economic growth that the light rail expansion could potentially bring to South Phoenix. But many share fears in terms of the construction phase and how that could impact their business. The expansion will run through District 8 Councilwoman Kate Gallego's territory. She says she wanted to address some of the concerns expressed by residents.
We have to work hard on construction to make sure that we minimize the impacts. We're starting earlier to assist our businesses than ever before so that we can make sure we have good communication and good plans set up to have as little disruption as possible.
The florists are now preparing a plan to keep their business on track during the construction phase of the light rail.
In particular, just with our customers and really just trying to build customer relationships, because I think that's really where it's going to be for us. You know, if we build our customer relation, then they're going to want to come.
The start of construction on the light rail expansion to South Phoenix is expected to break ground in the year 2019. For a look at where exactly the light rail is headed, visit our website, Cronkite.news.azpbs.org. Live in downtown, I'm Alex Valdez, Cronkite News.
Could you imagine taking all of your belongings and moving into a space with less than 350 square feet? Microhousing is an emerging trend that began in dense places like New York and San Francisco. But as reporter Tim Johns recently discovered, it's starting to make its way here to the Valley.
James Smith may be taller than most people at 6'6", but there's nothing particularly big about his apartment. Smith lives in a micro apartment complex called Whitestone Studios in downtown Phoenix, and for him, it's the perfect size.
It can be quite limiting in what you fill your space with, but I think that's a wonderful challenge that people need to be faced with.
And Smith is not alone. Microhousing is becoming a bigger trend for house hunters nationwide for a variety of reasons.
Residents cite things such as lower rent and utility bills, less maintenance, and simpler living as some of the perks of living in a micro unit.
Christoph Kaiser is an architect and developer who has been following the trend of microhomes for several years. Kaiser believes that the trend is starting to make its way into the Valley too, with a handful of projects being built or proposed in recent years. He says it's being driven by a resurgence of people looking to live in an increasingly vibrant downtown Phoenix.
Similar to what's happening globally in other international cities is happening in Phoenix, where people want to be downtown to be downtown.
And for Smith, he welcomes this trend to his native city and hopes it's something that continues to grow.
I think it will, definitely, as more and more people sort of introduce themselves to the idea and become more familiar with it and comfortable with it. I think it's something that could be quite successful.
In Phoenix, Tim Johns, Cronkite News.
The apartments at Whitestone Studios comes fully furnished and rent starts at about $1,300 per month. Right now, the death toll has risen in a Hollywood, Florida nursing home.
Coming up on Cronkite News, are there still others suffering indoors from Hurricane Irma's massive power outage?
And stay tuned, your full 7-day forecast coming up next on Cronkite News.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
Exploring, it's the lifeblood of the mission.
Human beings are a curious bunch.
What are we going to see when we get really close?
Wow.
Just because an idea is crazy, it's not necessarily wrong.
We were on our way.
You don't get anywhere until you've tested the limits.
That carries an intensity you can't imagine.
You could hear people just, whoa.
Oh my God, absolutely spectacular.
It's a rush. We ask a lot of our heroes.
We are at a remarkable moment.
We're going farther than any exploration ever has.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Thursday, October 19th at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring award-winning co-anchors and co-managing editors of the PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Ifill. To learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit Cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
Tragedy continues to strike after Hurricane Irma's passing, with now 8 confirmed deaths at a nursing home in Hollywood, Florida. Police are continuing their search throughout assisted living and retirement communities for anyone still in need of a rescue. Hollywood, Florida Mayor Josh Levy condemned how patients at the rehabilitation center at Hollywood Hills were completely overlooked.
Very disappointed that something like this could have taken place. I think there were certainly many ways emergency services could have been alerted to this circumstance, and unfortunately, emergency services were called, obviously, too late.
Firefighters have since evacuated 115 people from the Hollywood nursing home. Police Chief Tom Sanchez expected officers to finish checking the city's other 42 assisted living and other similar facilities by the end of today.
Hurricane Irma's impact on Florida has taken many forms, as we've seen. Destruction, power outages, and loss of property are widespread across the Keys. Today, the damage also manifested itself in the form of a sinkhole caused by storm water flooding. This land caved near a middle school in Apoca, obliterating a chunk of the West Orange Trail.
Hundreds of firefighters are still battling wildfires in the Pacific Northwest. Crews are struggling to contain the 52,000-acre North Peak fire in central Washington. And the National Guard released video of its C-130 helping with California's Pier Fire. It's burned more than 30,000 acres there in the Sequoia National Forest.
Meanwhile, here in the valley, we can expect some lower temperatures.
Chelsea Ray Ibanez has our forecast.
Now, we did reach a high of 105 today with a low at 82. Not quite the record we had back in 2000. Now, taking a look at temperatures across the state, up in Grand Canyon, we have a 69 degrees, Flagstaff 62, Lake Havasu 104. But as we get into the valley, we do get to those warmer temperatures. Just a few degrees below 110, Glendale at 108, Goodyear 108, Chandler 106, and Florence 101. Later tonight, we can look forward to having a little bit lower temperatures starting around 7 o'clock. Phoenix will be at 97, Mesa 93, and Coolidge at 92. Now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. We do have some good news. On Thursday, we're going to be below that 100-degree mark at 99, Friday 95, Saturday 97. We're going to see a little bit of a spike going into next week. Sunday at 98, Monday 99, Tuesday 98, but on Wednesday, we're going to be in those low 90s at 92. I'm Chelsea Ray Ibanez, Cronkite Weather.
The Arizona Humane Society is in a cat crisis. This means their facilities are at full capacity and can no longer take cats under their care. And they need your help to save these kittens. During the spring and summer months, there is an increase of cat breeding, resulting in an increase of cats entering the shelters. The Humane Society has about 150 cats that are up for adoption, 500 waiting in foster care, and 60 in the baby ICU, which is 10 over capacity. The Humane Society needs volunteers, adopters, and people to participate in their foster care program. The Care in Place program is designed to house newborn kittens until they are ready for adoption.
You can take in 1, 2, a litter of them. We'll provide you with all the supplies that you need, the medical treatment they might need. We spay and neuter them, and then once they're 8 weeks old and ready to go up for adoption, you can bring them back and we'll find them their forever homes.
If you find a stray litter of kittens, you should wait an hour or 2 for the mom to come back. If the kittens do need a little human help, you can get a free kitten care kit at the Humane Society. To some, going to school means sitting behind a desk and listening to the teacher.
But one school district has a new idea to escape the old way of thinking. Coming up on Cronkite News, we'll see how grade schoolers will escape the room and learn some valuable lessons, too.
Fridays, it's at Cronkite News, your social sharing connection where you choose the news. Facebook likes and shares, tweets, retweets, and favorites. YouTube views and subscriptions. We're watching you watch us. From our digital home at cronkitenews.azpbs.org to your television, web browser, or mobile device. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Then join us for at Cronkite News, our weekly refresh, each Friday at 5 on Arizona PBS.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
Human beings are a curious bunch.
What are we going to see when we get really close?
Oh my God, absolutely spectacular.
We are at a remarkable moment.
We're going farther than any exploration ever has.
Third Rail with Ozzy, the new weekly show where we tackle the taboo and debate the tough questions with the most interesting minds in the game. I'm Carlos Watson, only on PBS.
Classrooms are always looking for innovative ways to teach teamwork and problem solving. For one school, that meant leaving one classroom to escape another. Opening locks is opening minds in the Avondale School District.
In Avondale, our mission is to grow thinkers, problem solvers, and communicators to pursue a future without limits. And we do an amazing job of that in the classrooms. And we thought, could we just take this a little bit further and provide a different set of experience for our kids to be able to explore those?
And so the doors opened on the escape room. Students have to work together to solve puzzles and clues that lead them to keys and eventually escape, all in under an hour. Teamwork is not only used to get out of the room, it was also necessary to build the room.
Because it was such an effort. It was not just the three of us. It was the maintenance team. It was technology. It was parents. It was volunteers coming and spending time, spending their own energy.
The entire room was created by using styrofoam for the walls, refurbished furniture, as well as donations. But the school district also used a 3D printer to create artifacts like this one. And the students seem to be getting the most out of the opportunity.
I learned more about teamwork and cooperation. That was a really important part, how we all had to be together. Some kids I didn't even know, we were just all working together to solve that one puzzle.
After the success of their first escape room, the school district plans on building another room with the help of the students.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
We'll learn more about the Equifax breach, which impacts 143 million Americans. And it's time again for our favorite physicist, Lawrence Krauss.
For Cronkite News tonight, thanks for joining us.